Hi fellow campus ministers, chaplains, and collegiate ministry colleagues. My name is David MacDonald, and I'm the University Chaplain at Ohio Northern University, a United Methodist-related university located in Ada, Ohio. Now, if you've never heard of Ada, I won't hold that against you. We're a small farming community located about 50 miles south of Toledo in northwest Ohio. I'm excited to be leading a learning lab at this year's Summer Institute, a lab called MERGE, a method of group spiritual direction for first-year students. This learning lab will take place on Thursday during lab sessions 3 and 4. I want to begin by asking you to focus on an image of a circle. Every circle has a center and an edge. Now imagine that the circle represents your life. The center represents what is most comfortable and comforting in your life. Not much changes at the center. Things pretty much remain the same from day to day. The edge represents the scary places, the experiences or situations that maybe make you feel uncomfortable, maybe because you've never experienced or felt them before, or maybe because they're really frightening to you. The edge is where the rubber meets the road. There's lots of wear and tear at the edge, lots of grinding down and making rough spots smooth. There's a lot of activity at the edge, and as a consequence, the edge is where most of our growth happens. Now imagine yourself moving from the center, where you're most comfortable and comforted, to the edge. What might that feel like? If you're like most people, you might be imagining some anxiety or a sense of being unprepared, perhaps even a hesitancy to go to the edge. Once you get to the edge, though, something strikes you, changes you, challenges you, and you immediately feel yourself drawn back to the center, where you're more comfortable and comforted, and where you can safely process what you've encountered at the edge of your circle. This process, going from the center to the edge and back again, represents a pattern of growth that occurs in each of our lives, sometimes naturally, sometimes with some help. Either way, as you're able to process what you encounter at the edge, your edge begins to expand, and what was once scary and unfamiliar is now less scary and more familiar. And so it goes, from the center to the edge and back again, as we gradually expand our circles of experience and knowledge, as we grow. Some people never go to the edge, and as a consequence, their circles remain quite small and compact, and their horizons are very close. Others go to the edge and never want to go back to the center, and their edges grow so much that they forget they have a center altogether, and they become ungrounded. A good, balanced approach to spiritual formation recognizes that both the center and the edge are necessary for growth to happen, if that growth is to help us gently merge into the vision of the people God wants us to be. Now imagine that you're a first-year college student coming onto campus for the first time. Even if you're out in the middle of a cornfield like we are at Ohio Northern, you might still feel like this experience very much represents an edge to your circle. Emerging adulthood, and particularly the college experience, can be a series of edge experiences for students. So at Ohio Northern University, we've developed a program called MERGE that helps some students make that journey as part of a community where they can experience a sense of both the center and the edge. Let me show you what I mean. Remember the circle with its center and edge? Now let's look what happens when you put two circles together. See? What is my edge may be your center, and your edge may be my center. When you put a group of circles together, you see centers and edges interacting with one another, and a process of growth occurs. With that concept in mind, we developed MERGE 2 years ago as a way to help students grow in their spiritual formation in the midst of the busyness of college life. MERGE is a form of group spiritual direction. I developed the concept as part of my Doctor of Ministry project at Garrett Evangelical Theological Seminary. Based on the work of Rosemary Doherty in her book, Group Spiritual Direction, Parker Palmer's book, A Hidden Wholeness, and the work of Jane Vennard, a spiritual director and one of my own personal mentors, I developed a pattern of silence, sharing, and reflection that enables students to deeply reflect on their lives in a group setting. Merge meets weekly, which means that we very rarely have everyone in the group in attendance all at the same time. but it also provides consistency in a world where consistency can be a rare and beautiful gift. But before explaining the format of Merge, I'd like to give you a few definitions, some words and the ways we use them in Merge. Silence is time spent without speaking or listening to music or playing with electronic devices. It's listening to the quiet and the sounds that emerge out of that quiet, such as people passing in the hallways outside, birds chirping in the trees, a growling stomach, or the bells from the chapel tower tolling the time. A third thing is defined by Parker Palmer in his book, A Hidden Wholeness, and I'd like to read to you a passage from that book, beginning on page 92 to page 93. He writes, "How do we create a space that is both focused and inviting? Emily Dickinson, she of the notoriously shy soul, offers invaluable guidance. Tell all the truth, but tell it slant. Success in circuit lies. Too bright for our infirm delight, the truth's superb surprise. As lightning to the children eased with explanation kind, the truth must dazzle gradually, or every man be blind." In Western culture, we often seek truth through confrontation, but our headstrong ways of charging at the truth scare the shy soul away. If soul truth is to be spoken and heard, it must be approached on the slant. I do not mean we should be coy, speaking evasively about subjects that make us uncomfortable, which weakens us and our relationships. But the soul truth is so powerful that we must allow ourselves to approach it and it to approach us indirectly. We must invite, not command the soul to speak. We must allow, not force ourselves to listen. We achieve intentionality in a circle of trust by focusing on an important topic. We achieve indirection by exploring that topic metaphorically, via a poem, story, a piece of music, or a work of art that embodies it. I call these embodiments third things because they represent neither the voice of the facilitator nor the voice of a participant. They have voices of their own, voices that tell the truth about a topic, but in the manner of metaphors, tell it on the slant. Mediated by a third thing, truth can emerge from and return to our awareness at whatever pace and depth we are able to handle, sometimes inwardly in silence, sometimes aloud in community, giving the shy soul the protective cover it needs. Creative expressions are pieces of artwork, usually drawing from multiple media such as clay, crayons, markers, paint, glitter and glue, Play-Doh, pastels, chalk. The format of Merge looks something like this. We have 10 minutes for settling in and talking business, usually catching up with each other. How was your week? Then we talk about upcoming events like retreats and when we won't be meeting, such as the Sundays before breaks. Then we have 5 minutes of silence to get ourselves centered for the meeting. After the 5 minutes of silence are up, we share a third thing. It could be a piece of artwork or a poem or a story. And then 5 minutes more of silence to reflect on that third thing. Following this 5 minutes of silence, we have 20 minutes of sharing in pairs. This is usually broken up by one partner sharing for 7 minutes while the other person listens. And then the second partner has the opportunity to respond for 3 minutes. And then we switch roles. And now the second partner shares and the first partner responds. After the 20 minutes of sharing, we come back together at the end of the meeting for 20 minutes of creative expressions. And of course we have snacks. The creative expressions usually reflect back on the theme of the session, which comes from the third thing. But participants are free to do whatever they want with the medium provided. When you come to the session at Summer Institute this summer, you'll get the opportunity to experience what a Merge session is like, and we'll follow this same pattern as we go through the time of silence, sharing a third thing, reflective silence, sharing in pairs, and then creative expressions. So what's the effect that Merge has on the students? Well, my research has shown that something interesting happens. Using an instrument called the Faith Maturity Scale, I was able to determine that over the course of the first semester, students had a very slight, almost imperceptible uptick in their faith maturity. However, the most significant fact that emerged from my research suggests that the students who were attracted to Merge in the first place were those students who already scored higher than their peer group on the faith maturity scale as they were coming to college. In other words, Merge is a great way to help those students who come to college with a kind of received faith, who are already on some kind of spiritual journey. Merge helps such students to grow stronger in their faith while at college, helping to keep them from becoming part of the growing number of students who seem to abandon their faith while in college. A longitudinal study using the Merge model and surveying a control group in addition to Merge participants is being planned in order to study what effect Merge has on faith formation versus the normal college experience. But I suspect that it will prove to be a very effective way to help students avoid becoming part of the nuns that we're all talking about these days. But I don't want you to take my word for it. Here's what some actual Merge participants have to say about their experience with the program.
Merge has made a really big difference. It's like I've made a lot of friends through it just because we get pretty close and build deep connections. I mean, it's a really small group. There's like 6 of us. I think 8 now. We added 2 new members this year. But just like through those people, I've met more people and stuff like that. And then, I don't know, it's just like, it's a nice time to kind of decompress. It kind of takes away stress and stuff like that.
And the silence is really hard at first. You know, we started out with like 1 minute and that took forever. But as we grow and more mature, we've come to 5 minutes of silence, and that's like the perfect amount for right now. You know, you just have that time between you and yourself and God, and it could be for whatever you really need it.
Merge has been a really amazing experience for me. Transitioning into college life, it's hard enough, but to have something like Merge there to guide me through it helped me to not only retain my faith, but to strengthen it as well. And at Merge, with everyone in it, we always say that we've made friends through faith. But really, that bond that I've made with those people is so strong because of the shared experience that we've created. And I've come to lean on those friends in times where I didn't think I had anyone else around for me.
Well, there you have it. If you decide to come to either of the Merge Learning Labs on Thursday session 3 and 4, you'll get a chance to experience what Merge is like firsthand. We'll have a brief recap of what you learned from this video, and we'll follow that with a short Merge experience, ending with a time for discussion and questions and answers. I look forward to being with you all at the Summer Institute 2015, and I'll see you in DC.